Hey guys, welcome to JazzedTutorials. This week's tutorial is going to be pretty amazing. It's going to be a little long though, so I figured I would make the tutorial first and then just show you layer by layer and step by step how I create such an awesome video. So, as you can clearly see, I have already made the background, and I've pasted on a lovely lady named Katy Perry onto here. Because Katy Perry is awesome, and I thought this tutorial would be awesome, and so why the hell not, right? So, for my background, which is layer 0, I used, you could use a gradient, a background if you wish. That's what I did, and I used hues of, let's see, where's the, oh, there it is. I used, colors that kind of were in this area, general area, so like that, this one, and it just kind of evens it out, like kind of like a skin tone. So go ahead and grab some skin tone like colors and make yourself a gradient background. And yeah, something like that, if you kind of know what that is. If you're a beginner, this tutorial may not be for you because it is pretty advanced. I'm an advanced person. I've been doing Photoshop for quite a number of years now, so I know my stuff, but some of you may not. So if you know what I'm talking about, then stick with me and keep going. But hey, if you are a beginner and you want to learn how to do this is a great video to watch. You'll learn other things as well. Yep. Alright, so after I did that, I then went ahead and made a new layer above that. And I went ahead and added a bunch of cool, like, soft round brush, like, blotches of paint. I didn't do it on the whole, like, image, but I did it surrounding the background. So you'll see over here on the right side that I have a little bit left of the background color. Now, I chose dark hues of purple and red just because they kind of go in with the whole tutorial. Because it's basically a colorized fashionista retro style tutorial, I guess we're going to call this. But yeah, so grab just random hues that are dark, like kind of like that, dark purple, and put them around. Change the opacity of the brush a bit. Mix it up, make it look pretty cool. And again, this is your whole, like, creativity comes into play here. Do whatever you want for your image because, as I always say, every image may have a different outcome, so you may have to adjust your settings in your Photoshop other than what I have here. So once you have that image made or that painted on how you want it, you're going to then create another layer above that. And this one is another paint layer. This one, I used kind of like a very white pale color. Not exactly pure white, but not exactly like pale. It's more of a pale color. So yeah, I use this kind of color here. And again, with a soft round brush, I just painted like a little amount there. And you could also, if you want, rather than painting on a big blob right there, you could probably use the gradient radial tool. That would be cool too. But whatever, play around with it and see what's good to you. Because this tutorial basically is creativity in its finest. So this is where I show you how to become creative in your own way and not exactly following a set number of rules. Because no matter how you do this tutorial, you will have a great outcome no matter what. That is, unless you forget a step or don't do a step, then maybe not so much. But as long as you do something similar to what I have shown, you'll get a good outcome nonetheless. Alright, so then you're going to go ahead and make another layer above that. Let's see, and in this one here, I painted on just one blob circle of a really kind of a dark pink / purple color. Let's see if I can show you the color here. Yeah, it's more of like a really like deep red pink color. Something of this hue you could use. I wouldn't go any lighter than that. Maybe a little bit darker, maybe a little lighter, but not too much. So go with that, so something like that hue. And then click OK, make your cornered blob, and that's it. Leave that alone. So essentially what we're doing right now is we're creating a background for the person in the image. And then eventually we'll create the lighting effects on top of her as we get further in. So, are you with me? Do you feel this tutorial? Do you see where I'm going with this, or are you a little confused? If you are confused in any way, shape, or form, again, always comment below, and I will do my best to help you out as much as I can. Oh, and one more thing I want to add is too, this tutorial will work with all versions of Photoshop, as long as you have the brush tool and some of the added in adjustment layers. But more times than one, you'll have this option in your Photoshop. So it's for everyone. All right, another new layer. I again went ahead and added another blob of paint over here, just above that. Not too big, but not too little. I used, well, that's not really the actual color because it blends in, but as you add more color to your image here, it's going to start blending in. So really, for me to show you the exact colors that I've used, it's a little bit difficult now. But I did use like a really like bright, kind of white pale color again, like we did before. And I didn't use a big brush on this one. I used a smaller brush, but, you know, adjust your size to your canvas. You can make this a big image. You can make it a small image. I'm just doing a short little one here to show you. And then I made another layer. Yes, we are making multiple layers here, guys. I swear. Alright, so then I added these cool blobs of red and a bright reddish pink color. And then I added another dark purple pink color. Kind of like that color there, but I added it over here. And it kind of blended in with the background, so I thought it looked pretty cool. So something like that, kind of like a salmon color, but not too pink. And then over here we have just a deep red-ish color. And that's that. So I just pasted that kind of like in the middle, behind the girl's head, but not too much. So you see where I'm going with this, sort of, kind of? Alright. Alright, now as we get into the nitty-gritty kind of weirdness. Okay, so we're going to now start working with the actual photo. So go ahead and duplicate your photo itself twice. And make sure you also, if you didn't notice already, have it all cut out and have no background to it. But I'm sure you realize that by now you need to have it cut out. But alright, so go ahead and duplicate that layer twice. And on the first copy layer, you're going to go to Filter, and you're going to add a wow, oh my god, a Gaussian blur. Well, I knew it had to start with a G. You're going to add a Gaussian blur. I use 2.0 for the pixels, but you're welcome to use whatever ones you want. But don't make it too blurry, just make it blurry enough where you can see it, but not too blurry where it's like gone. And then what you're going to do, you can't really see it right now. Let me hide that so you can see it. Basically what I've done, that's on the, you're going to change the background's color to this. So you're going to go ahead and not double click, you're going to go ahead and do, if you didn't, now you know. Control or Command, and you're going to click on the thumbnail of the lady, which mine's hidden right now, but when you go ahead and do a Command click, it's going to make a marquee around that particular image. And what you're then going to do with that color that I just showed you, which I'll show you again just so you know, this one here, you're going to do a Command backspace or Control backspace or Alt backspace, and you're going to change the color of that to this color here. Alright, and then you'll add the Gaussian blur. So, add the Gaussian blur after you've done that. I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier, but I just did. So if that confused you, I'm sorry. I meant to say add the color first, then do the Gaussian blur, but I didn't, and I'm sorry. So anywho, so you have that. Then on the second copy layer, you're going to again go ahead and add the same thing. Do the same exact thing, and just this time you're going to add the color, but this time we are going to mask out part of it. So you go ahead and add the mask layer to this. Grab your eraser brush with a large round brush, soft round brush at that. I'm using 182 for my pixels, but use whatever size works for your photo. And then just be nice and diligent and delete part of it, but not all of it, because you don't want it to look too weird. So yeah, something of that matter. Alright, and now I'm going to make this one visible again. And you're probably wondering, why do we just do that? Well, believe me, it'll look cool. I mean, you won't really see it too much, but hey, it's the thought that counts. Alright, then I'm going to make my girl visible layer again. And you'll kind of see how I made a drop shadow. Now, yes, you're probably wondering, why can't I just double click the girl layer and make a drop shadow? You could do that, but the effects you're going to apply on top of it won't show through as well as if you did it that particular way. That is why I did it that way. It's a little bit more of a challenge and a little bit more out of the way, but it'll showcase this tutorial really well if you do it that way. So once you have those two layers done, you want to slightly move them out to the right or to the left, depending on how your image is set up. I move mine to the right a bit, and you'll then notice a little bit of a drop shadow happening behind the girl. That's what you want to see. You don't want it to be too over dramatic and too crazy, but enough where it looks subtle and kind of nice. Alright, you follow me so far? Alright, we're kind of almost there to the end, but we're not quite. We're going to add a few adjustment layers now. But before we do that, we're going to add another new color. And this is on top of everything. Alright? But what you will notice is I have these little, what look to be return key arrows showing. That, if you didn't notice, that is a clipping mask. But by now you should know what a clipping mask is, because advanced people usually know what that is off the bat. Basically what that does is it brings down that entire layer on top of the layer below it, which in our case is our girl layer. So go ahead and paint on with a soft round brush a really deep purple. I don't have any set purple colors, but choose a deep purple of your choice. Paint it with a soft round brush on top of like the girl, kind of, sorta. I'll show you what I mean. I have it on soft light, if you didn't already notice, but I will turn it to normal just to show you. Yeah, you see I painted it alongside the girl, but not all over the entire image. Once you make a painting of that matter, go ahead and change that to soft light, and it will then give you that really awesome tone to the image you're looking for. Alright, and we're going to add another one above that, so create a new layer again. And on this one, I'm going to show you this one, so I'll turn it not to soft light. Oh, linear burn, sorry. I'll turn to normal so you can see what I did here. What I did here is I added like a little ray of sunshine. Yeah, no. I added a bit of a ray, like a kind of a what color did I use? I used like a tan-ish skin tone, and I just painted a little bit going upward on the girl, just like that. And then I changed that layer to linear burn. And I again used a big soft round brush, because I thought that would really make it look really awesome. Now you're probably looking at this right now and going, that looks really ridiculous, what's going on? Well, we're not done, so don't quote me and say, oh, that looks ridiculous. And by the way, you should have these both layers as clipping masks. And for those that don't know how to do a clipping mask, all you gotta do is hold down your Alt key, and a little paint can will appear. Click it, and it will then go ahead and merge that down to that particular layer you're looking for. Alright, and that's a clipping mask. And you'll notice over here I have a layer mask, and that's because I painted on extra, I used extra painting on the girl layer, and I didn't need all of that color, so I masked out the parts of that brush I didn't use. So yeah, that's what I did there. If you notice the mask there, but you may not need to do that. You may just be like, oh, I'll just paint on a few things and be done with it, and that's fine. Go right ahead. It's creativity at its finest, and that's where you come in. Alright, now we're going to add another layer. We're going to add a curves adjustment layer on top of everything. Oh yeah, everything. Alright, I'm going to show you what I did here. You want to make a similar look to what I've done here. And this is where you're going to come in and kind of be creative in this, because depending on the image you use, you don't want to have it too bright, and you also don't want it too dark. So you can use mine as a guideline to what it should look like, but by all means, go ahead and suit it to your best ability and to what looks good to you. Alright, you got that, so yay! And these and right now these are not clipping masks, so we're done with the clipping mask layers for now. So then above the curves adjustment layer, and just so you know, on the curves adjustment layer, I did, however, mask out the parts of that mask I didn't need. So what you'll see here, if I delete the layer mask, it'll be way too bright on her head. Do you see that? So I then just went ahead and I took a soft round brush, and I kind of erased the parts of it that made it too bright. And you might need to do that as well. So if you need to do that, add a mask layer to your curves adjustment layer, and then just and then take an eraser brush and go like kind of around your, kind of like cut out your image with the eraser brush, but not really cutting it out, but you're going around the perimeter of the image to make it look more subtle and awesome. So that's what I did there. All right, next one, we added a levels adjustment layer. And these are what I used here, but again, you might have to adjust it to suit your image because not every image will have the same lighting as mine. And you should know by now that not every photo is the same light content. So that's why in this particular tutorial, it's really your creativity meets the Photoshop. I'm just showing you the basics of how to create this kind of an image. Alright, so use those numbers there if you want. If it does look too ridiculous, you can again, like I just said, adjust it to your suit. Alrighty. We are almost done, guys. We only have 2 more layers to go and we're finito. Alright, so add a new layer. And on this one here, I painted on now kind of a dark gray at the bottom to the left. I just put a little dark gray blob there because I felt like it blended in really well with the lady. And so, yeah. Alright, and then our final layer I should say, is this blue. I'm going to leave it at normal, but I'll show you. I'll leave it at normal and show you what I did. So, I changed the fill to this layer. It's 17%. But I'm going to do 100% so I can show you the color I used. Which is basically a really, really, really bright blue. I use this particular blue here. And I like this blue because it really showcases the tutorial really well. And it really adds a nice touch to the image itself. So change your fill to 17% because that's the most awesome number you can think of off the top of your head. And then change that to color. And voila! You've created an awesome, cool, lighted, retro-ish effect on your image. How do you feel? Do you feel awesome? Do you feel great? I feel great. I just taught you something really awesome. I know this tutorial was very long, indeed, and I'm sure you probably have clicked off this video by now, but if you stuck around till the end, thank you, I congratulate you, and here's a high five and some brownies. Well, not really brownies, but high five for that, yay! Alright, and one thing before I leave you, I have a new channel. It's a second channel on top of this one because magically I created a second YouTube channel on top of this one by accident the other day. So I figure having it just sit there and doing nothing, why not make use of it? So I made a new a new channel called Jazzed Vlogs. Basically, I'll be vlogging about random stuff. Right now I only have one video posted and that's just my introduction to the channel. So head on over to that channel there, check that video out, and leave me some comments on that video and some messages and whatnot on what you want to see on that channel. And yeah, and in case you don't watch that video or whatnot, I want you to know this channel was my first love and my first channel, and I will always dedicate my life to JazzedTutorials here. So if I don't post a video on that channel, I will always post a video on here. This will be my once a week video channel, so look out for this channel, always. And that channel, I'll post videos when I can, which is probably going to be maybe once a week. I'll try to anyway. But this channel was my first love, and I'll always post videos on this channel, so don't think I'll leave you hanging, because I won't. Alright, I have talked too long for now. I've talked way too long now. This video is probably almost a half an hour long, maybe, possibly. I don't know. So, you're probably bored to tears. I am very sorry. So, I'm going to go now. And I hope you have an awesome week. And I will see you next week with more awesome videos. Yay! Love all around.